Hi, I'm Andy, and this is my DIY bus conversion. So right off the bat, this is an ICCE 2010. So I'll just go ahead and address it now. It does have the MaxxForce DT466 engine, I think is what it's called. This engine, plug your ears bus, is known to have some issues. I'll put the years here that you should look out for if you're planning to buy your own bus. We didn't know. Our research didn't show up in our research. I had a mechanic look at it before I bought the bus even. Apparently he didn't know. So we've had a mechanic check it out and do some work on it before we took it on the road, and they said it's in really good shape, but it is something definitely that we'll have to keep our eye on and really baby this thing and take really good care of it so that it lasts as long as possible. So what drew us to this bus is that there was no rust on the frame really, and no rust in the body at all. So without further ado, I'll show you the rest of the outside of the bus. On the roof, we have 4 100-watt solar panels. So in the garage is our electrical setup. We have 400 amp hours of lithium-ion batteries, and we have a 3,000-watt inverter. Behind me is a 46-gallon fresh water tank, and we have a 40-gallon gray water tank underneath the bus. We do not have a black water tank. Above the freshwater tank is this beautiful creation that we use for extra storage under the bed. We keep things in here like some non-perishable goods and toilet paper and like a sleeping bag, just like random stuff. And then this massive pile of things is tools in case things break and we need to fix them, or if we have any projects we want to do on the road. I think that's everything under the bed. So right here we have shore power, which we could use to charge our batteries if we ever went to a campground, which we haven't yet. And here we have our freshwater intake. The bus came with 2 storage compartments built in on the side. We keep things in there that it's fine if they get wet, like our dump station hose for our gray water tank. We have a ladder in there to get to the roof, things like that. All right, let's take a look inside. Right, so welcome to the cab. We left pretty much everything in here original, as you can probably tell. I thought about tidying up in here, but I wanted to give you an honest look at what this is really like, because when you're stopped, your junk moves to the cab, and when you're moving, your junk moves back there. That's just how it is. On that note, we keep the Reflectix right here. So these are usually up on our windows at night or when it's hot or really cold, whatever. Up here, we have some storage that already came with the bus. In here, we have really random things. We've got fanny pack, bear mace, gloves, and a few shoes. So nothing too glamorous. On the floor as we came in, you probably noticed all the shoes. We don't have a place for our shoes, so they kind of just live in the stepwell. To my right, we have a coat rack. So this has obviously coats, hats, gloves. It's really heavy. As I'm sure you've noticed, we have a wall and a door. I haven't seen this a whole lot, and I know it doesn't look awesome, but we just wanted the extra privacy, and we wanted a separation between the living area and the cab, so it doesn't feel like, you know, we're always in a bus. It feels really homey in there with this wall here. And of course, extra security never hurts, because all we have besides this is the double door. So it's just kind of nice to have an extra little barrier to help keep us safe. On the ceiling is one of my favorite things. I realized some time ago that the ceiling is magnetic. So we hang maps and pictures and all kinds of stuff on the ceiling. We have cameras set up for us to use when we're driving. So we have a backup camera, a camera to watch the tow, and left and right side view cameras as well. We have right here one of my favorite things about the bus, and I'm sure I'm gonna say that probably about everything. But we have a bus with a wheelchair door, obviously. We set up the eating counter / my work desk right here, so we could always look at the view. This table actually came from an old IKEA coffee table I used to have that I disassembled and turned into our new table. It feels good to kind of be able to reuse some stuff that I already had. Here we have our map where we obviously keep track of all the places we've been. I know this is kind of a little thing and maybe it isn't something worth highlighting, but to me it is. I love maps, and this makes me happy. It is another one of my favorite things about the bus. I'm gonna say that a lot. Right next to our maps is my boyfriend's workstation and gaming setup. I know exceptionally little about this gaming setup. All I can tell you is that he has his PC from home that he brought with him, and that he plays multiplayer games, and hasn't really had much issue with using a hotspot to do that. Now seems like a good time to bring up that we have a Wii Boost on the bus to help us get better signal wherever we are, since we both work remotely. Moving on to my favorite part of any other van or bus tour that I watch, the kitchen. We have 120 volt fridge. This works for us. It's an energy efficient fridge. It hasn't really been a problem. I'm not endorsing this for everyone though. If you had a smaller power bank, or you didn't have a big enough inverter, you could have maybe some issues. We obviously have a freezer and a fridge, and I think this is a really good size for living in a bus. Above the fridge is one of our pantry spaces. This thing is really deep. So yeah, it holds a lot of stuff. Next to the fridge, we have this little cubby space. I thought about building like a rollout pantry or something in here, but I kind of just like having this space as a space to put stuff whenever we don't want it in the way. So right now I have my saxophone down here, a few books, an atlas, and then I throw my tote bag in there, or if we go hiking, we'll throw book bags in there, just whatever. Kitchen storage, kitchen storage, kitchen storage. Starting in this drawer is our utensils, which is just a set of tongs, a spatula, and a slotted spoon, and that's it. And all of our silverware, we have 4 of each utensil. This doubles as a junk drawer. We are a junk drawer household, and that does not change just because our house is on wheels. Up here, we have more pantry storage, and on this side we have vitamins and meds, and we also have some of our spices up here. The other part of our spices are down here, along with literally everything else that would go in a kitchen. So we have 2 pans and a pot, a large mixing bowl, 4 plates, 4 bowls, a handful of cups, cutting board, we have a NutriBullet, and we have Tupperware. That's pretty much all we brought with us that I can think of, and it has been more than sufficient. In here, we have the things you would expect to find under a kitchen sink. Plastic bags from grocery stores, cleaners, the trash. We keep a collapsible laundry basket down here. Extra paper towels. I dye my hair a lot, so there's a ton of hair dye under the sink. I think that's everything under the sink. Sometimes I find surprises down there though, I'll be honest. The lower cabinets came from IKEA. I think that's probably obvious from looking at them. And the upper cabinets, it's probably obvious from looking at them that I made them myself. All of our cabinets lock with these little hook and eyes. Honestly, we were trying to go quickly when we finished the conversion, so I wanted to think of something that would be quick and easy and effective, and hook and eyes is what I came up with. They work really well. We don't really have any problems with our cabinets flying open while we drive. Here, of course, we have our 2-burner cooktop. We have a Max air fan for exhaust while cooking. Obviously, you need to have an exhaust system while you're, lighting a fire. And this funky little cabinet, we have our tankless water heater. As you can see, it has a little chimney that goes up and exhausts out of the roof. This thing works great. I have no complaints about it. And then here, obviously, is our kitchen sink. Wouldn't you know it? It's an IKEA sink. We have running water. That's all you get, because, we need that. So obviously we have some open shelves here. The stuff on the shelf does not stay up here while we drive, obviously, but I really like to have the stuff that I use on a daily basis and stuff that I like to look at just out in front of me because it makes me feel more at home. So maybe it's a little bit impractical, but I don't care. Down here is our space heater. This is a Wave 3 catalytic heater. It works pretty well. We've been able to keep warm in here on nights where it's like, I don't know, between 20 and 30 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's probably when we wake up in the morning between 40 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit in here, which is not excessively warm, but we did buy a small heater for the space. But it's enough to keep our pipes from bursting and enough to keep us relatively comfortable. We have more overhead storage on this side. All of our toiletries are on this side of the cabinet, and we have some electronics, chargers. I have some books in here, just more random stuff on this side. So the couch has a few functions. It slides out so that we can have guests sleep over, it can sleep too. and it lifts up so that we can have storage underneath it. A few things about this. The materials I use to build the couch are a little bit too heavy, where it makes it inconvenient to lift this up and get to the storage inside. I would recommend putting stuff in your couch that you don't need to access very often. You have to take all the cushions off first, and the pillows and the blankets. Like, it's kind of a chore anytime you want to get something out of here. So I just try to be mindful about the things that I store in here because it's not super convenient to get to. So this is our little hallway. Not really a ton to see here, except for this. This is our step to help us get up on the bed since it's pretty tall, and it holds laundry. I've always seen people say to make sure you have a place to put your laundry because it smells, and I took that to heart, so that's where the storage stair kind of came from. Behind the kitchen is the bathroom. I waterproofed some pine board instead of using like FRP just because I thought this would look more interesting, and I think it does. And we have something I'm sure you've probably heard a lot about if you're watching this video, Nature's Head composting toilet. I'll just say what everybody else has said. No, it doesn't smell amazingly. It does smell when you have to deal with the pee, and I will say that we found that you have to empty the pee bucket more than you might think that you would. It fills up pretty fast. And then we have this little toiletry holder in the shower. I take everything off of here, obviously, when we're driving. That can't stay like that, but it's very nice to have because we park for a few weeks at a time. So having all of this just here and ready for when we want to take a shower is super convenient. In the bedroom, we have another Max Air fan, just to help with the flow of air throughout the bus. This is the overhead storage. I built this in where the air conditioner used to be. Sweaters are in here. I have swimsuits and underwear in there, so you know I'm not gonna open that. Our bed is a full-sized bed. The other thing is our headboard, which has a ton of storage in it. So if I just move these pillows, we have access to the headboard. These things are super deep. I'll demonstrate. And the headboard literally holds all of our clothes. This is it. When I first built these, I had all of our clothes just in the headboard loose, and it was hard to find things, so I'm sure you've heard it before, but packing cubes made such a big difference. Yeah, really recommend these. I'm not like sponsored or anything. Yeah, packing cubes. I wanted to take this chance to talk about something that I didn't see any videos about whenever I was preparing to convert the bus, and that's regarding this. So what you're looking at here is actually two pieces of trim that I have used a nail gun to nail together, and inside of it is all of the wiring for the bus itself, because you can't get rid of that stuff and it's too big to fit in your ceiling. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because I've never seen anybody talk about where the wiring for their actual vehicle goes. But yeah, now you know if you didn't already. One last piece of advice I have for keeping warm: flannel sheets. Flannel sheets are very helpful. Of course, there's like other things you could do, like a warm water bottle or a proper sleeping bag, but flannel sheets are pretty versatile and they can get us through like a lot of pretty chilly nights. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. I think that's all I have for you. Let me know if you have any questions. There's a lot I could have talked about, so I tried to be selective with what I talked about versus what I didn't, but I'm sure that that might leave some people with questions. So if you have any, let me know and I will try to answer those for you. Thanks for watching my DIY bus conversion tour. Yeah, love you, bye.